Right then, so now we're here, you have this paper and you're ready to rock and roll and do something really cool. This is hard math and I'm going to walk you through every step here. So prepare yourself, put the paper on your desk, I'll do, and we're going to do something fun here. I'll also say that, if you might want along the way here to have a partner that can help you, or you could do that from the very beginning, or you can also do it by yourself, but then you later might need something to cover some of the numbers. So if you have some post-it notes or some other papers that you can put on the top, but we'll get to there. So challenge now, and I want to say to you, I totally respect you for being here still and doing this. I know this is hard work. This is a work that most people never do. So that's why when you do it, you will have a huge advantage because you go through everything now. And you will get so much more clarity on the different target groups that most people have never had that. And you will know deep in your heart some truth here. So let's get started. G1, group 1, your group, I don't know the name, but you find them. Can you see them in your mind? Okay, these people. The first thing I want to ask you, on a scale from 1 to 10, we have been touched into that, but we do it again and try to zoom in and forget everything we have talked about. Don't compare with anything. Just this group, you can see it. Your energy on a scale from 1 to 10. 10 world class, you would jump out like a dolphin out of your bed in the morning. You're like excited. Being with those people makes you always, there's joy, a high vibe. It's not necessarily party, but you love to do this. That's a 10. 1, I want to sleep. I don't want to go to work. I can't do it, right? You're probably not there, but where are you at on a scale from 1 to 10? Well, 10 is the maximum energy that you could think about, or passion, or a vibe, or whatever. 1 low. Write a number. It's not, you not need to do the exact number. That's the thinking. Maybe you're like, okay, I'm a 5, 6 or a 6. Just choose one. It's not that important if it's exact, but you would know, is it 5, 6 or is it 7, 8 or what is it? Oh, it's a 10. Okay? We only think about that one group now. Forget all the other people. Okay, you take still only that target audience, that group 1, and you go on to the next one. And I ask you, the sense of doing something deeply meaningful on a scale from 1 to 10. 10 is like, I'm absolutely on my purpose. I can't imagine that I can do something more meaningful in my life. That is like, I feel totally fulfilled when I do that. 1 is, no, it's actually not me. I don't care. I can do it, but I have it doesn't give me a sense of meaning. So you can actually have a high energy on something, but not the sense of doing something important at all. So just know that these two numbers doesn't need to correspond. So don't think here, just zoom into that one thing. Sense of doing something deeply meaningful is a big yes. Maybe a 10 or a 9, 8, 9, whatever. Or is it neutral? Yeah, a little bit, but not too much. You write your number about, Okay. If you need to pause, you do that. But don't go into a huge thinking time, especially on the meaning part. A lot of people struggle there because they start having some moral thoughts. Maybe they feel deep meaning on helping some people, but some voice in their back of their head says, but it would be more meaningful to help other people because they have more suffering. So we tend, collectively, we tend to feel like the most meaningful, and it might be something with that in a different way of thinking, that the more suffering people have, the more meaningful it is to help them. But also, it's a truth that we all play our part because everyone cannot do that. We have homeless people out here on the streets. And of course, there's something in me thinking that would be extremely meaningful to help them. However, for me, the most meaningful thing that I can do in my life these years is to help teachers. That I feel that deep in my soul. So don't go into feeling bad conscience and should I maybe think different? No, just go in and feel what is the most for me doing now. Okay, we go to number 3. Go to the next one, future identity. Think about this group. Imagine you in 10 years being at the top of the game, a brand, the number one person to go to, very successful, like totally thriving, unfolding yourself at the top of the game in this group, in this market. How on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you see that? 10 is like, yeah, that would be my absolute fulfill all my dreams, right? Or a 1, no, I'm not going to do that in 10 years. So again, don't think too much like, what does that mean? Can I no, because it might be the right thing to do now. I just want you to see for yourself, to have a check here. How do you see yourself in 10 years? 10, absolutely, that would be the ultimate dream. Or yeah, maybe that's a 5, or no, that's lower than a 5. Future identity, give a number. All right, now I want you to think about one thing, the growth part. So when we throw ourselves out in a new direction or do something, there are sometimes we might say, okay, I would love to, that would be deeply meaningful. I can really much see myself doing that, and I feel the energy working with these people, right? But I also feel that would challenge me because I have high standards. I want to do something really good. So I know that I would be challenged. I know that I would have to read some more books or participate at some seminars or learn some new skills. So on a scale from 1 to 10, the challenge or the demand for you to grow, how is that? 10 is like, okay, that would be, I might do it, but I would take some deep breaths in and really go for it and challenge and step up. 1 is that I can do that without thinking, with my left hand blindfolded. I don't even need to give it a thought. I've done this so many times. They can just bring it on, I'll do it. I could do a puzzle while I did it because I don't need to think. You follow me here? So 1, absolutely no growth. 5, yeah, always growing, learning. I would probably try to keep up and but it's not a big challenge. 10, super challenge. And either is good. All of them are good, So don't think that it should be a lot of challenge or should not be. Right now, just write what you feel or what you think. Okay. So now we will jump to the next group. So we'll save the other ones for a little later. So we'll go through the group 2. And I don't know that name for you, but it's important to me that you see those people in your mind. So that's different people, right? So when you look your eyes or you see in your mind, it's different people. So now you might want to have a partner, or you might want to find something that can cover what you just wrote on the other one. Because it's very important that you are able to look at one group and one question and feel in, not comparing, I just said that there, so that might mean, and you already start planning which group you will have the better number to. No, it's so important that you just feel in every moment now on each of them, okay? So we go to group number 2, and I ask you your energy on a scale from 1 to 10. If you spent your days and weeks and months being with these people, this is energy when being with them. So that's the people you're going to do a Zoom call with. That is the people you're going to do having a coaching group or on the seminars. That's the people you'll be on the phone call with and meet. So, And people meetings are energy meetings. So I want you to leave those people, or after you work with those people, feeling like, I love doing this. I love being with these people. Sometimes there are people that we can be really drained by being with, right? So, but now, or they're so low that we feel like strangers to them. So on a scale from 1 to 10, you're waking up in the morning and knowing that this week, it's Monday morning, this week I'm going to work with these kind of people. Your energy, what do you feel? And now I'm really talking about your joy of working with them. So you're not looking at them and see how high energy do they have, because they might have a high energy, but they might be different. So you can even be sometimes with people who have a very high energy, but at the end of the day, you're drained. Now it's your own individual feeling of your energy working with these people, right? Scale from 1 to 10 for group 2. Got it? We go on to the next one. Your sense of doing something deeply meaningful. Scale from 1 to 10. And again, those two doesn't need to correspond. They can be very different. So sometimes we can feel like not necessarily the high energy. It's not the party factor. The party thing is not so necessarily so high, but my sense of doing the right thing and the fulfillment is so huge. So Mother Teresa, she didn't choose the most happy, cool people to work with, but it felt so meaningful to her. So it was deep, deep passion. And when she went to sleep, she knew that she was on purpose. Okay? It's good if it's both, but it doesn't need to be both. Or it can be a really high energy, but really feel like, okay, but it's not so meaningful. But it's really fun and cool, and I have a lot of cool experiences. But it's might not be so meaningful, or it might be a little bit. On a scale from 1 to 10, where are you at? Good. We go to the next one, future identity. How likely or can you see yourself being that top speaker teacher in 10 years? So go 10 years into the future and see yourself still doing this with a lot of success, a high level, being the number one person to go to, being the one who have a big market, unfolding yourself, thriving, but you're working with those people. So on a scale from 1 to 10, is that that would be my ultimate dream, or no, absolutely not, or maybe? So where are you at? Give us a number, or give yourself a number. It doesn't need to be the exact. So if you're, I'm not sure if it's 7 or 8, just choose one. Okay, doesn't matter. And then we jump to the next one, growth. With working with this kind of people. You know what you can do. You know where you're at. How would that challenge you? Would it challenge you big time, or a little, or not so much? A scale from 1 to 10. All right. So we go on and we do it with group 3. Your energy. You can see the group, right? Your energy on a scale from 1 to 10. Knowing that these are the people that you spend your hours and your days and weeks and months with, is that high vibe on that, or is it a low or a neutral one? Where are you on a scale from 1 to 10? A low would be, I absolutely cannot take more. I don't want to do that. I have no motivation. 10 would be, hey, I'm like, woohoo. Where are you at? Give me a number. Okay? So, cool. And again, now you have covered all the others, so you don't compare with anyone. Go to the meaning. Meaning, sense of doing deep, meaningful work. On a scale from 1 to 10, where are you at? You know now how to do this, okay? Being on purpose, totally fulfilled. That's a 10 maybe, or very high? Or is it absolutely, you couldn't care more or less? You could care less as a no, 1. Get it? Oh, I jumped by future identity. Then let's do that then. Future identity. Or did I? I can't remember right now. So if I didn't do that, you do that. Okay? I'll give you some time to that. See yourself in 10 years doing exactly this for this group of people. All right. So if you have more now, you stop the video and you go through the same process on energy, meaningfulness, future identity, and growth. You can do that. Just remember to feel and not think, and to focus in on each at a time. And you know, theoretically you could have 10 on everything here. You can have the same number of everything. So you just go in and feel on this case on a scale from 1 to 10, right? You do that on the rest. And then you join me on the last steps here. Right? You're back. So now I want you to do something. We are going to have a look at the S, which is scholarship. So I don't know now, right now, if you have 3 or 4 or 6 groups left. But first I want you to look at them now. You have done all of them. So you have numbers on energy, numbers of meaningful, numbers of future identity. All of those 3 tells a lot about how you see yourself and how that life would be for you. So if you see, most probably you will see that there are 1 or 2 here that have quite high numbers on all of these 3. And then you will see that there are some of them that have a low number. If there are a group or 2 here, you see, actually, they're not like, here are 5 and 4 and 6, and you know, but there are others that are 7, 8, 9, 10. I would just say, okay, right now you know that you would never choose that if you could do the other ones, right? So if you have someone that you actually have kind of a low number on now, then I would not do that. Especially if it's below 5 on energy, meaning, or below 6 on energy, meaning, or future identity. I don't think you should do that. The only reason to do, if you had a low with energy and meaning, or like neutral, but really high on future identity, then you should ask yourself, why is it that this is my goal and I see myself doing this, but I'm actually not finding so much joy and meaning in it right now? You know, maybe it's a goal that other people have set to you, for you. So if you don't see yourself doing this in the future so much, if you're very high on energy and meaningful, but you low on future identity, like 10 years, you might want to do it because it feels right now, and you know you can change in 3 years or 5 years. So okay, you can keep them then. Let's have a look at the growth. So the growth number is interesting because if you are now in a position where you start to build a business, then you will be challenged by learning how to build a business. So you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you have a high demand of growth. So if you have like 7, 8, 9, or 10 on growth, or some of them, that might not be something you want to do while you also build your company or business. If you already have a successful company and you earn a lot of money, you have no financial concerns or worries at all, then you might be up to say, okay, but I could give myself that challenge, right? So look at for all of those G numbers, growth numbers, that is 6 or more. I want you to look at them. So take the first group, that you have a growth number over 6. So if it's less than 6, it doesn't matter. But if it's more than 6, that means it would take some energy to do that. I want you to ask yourself, is this positive growth? Is this something that I would love to do? Or would it be hard to do that? So is it stress? No, okay, I can say I would be willing to do it, but I also, I can see it's a lot to learn. Then it might be a stress energy. So then you put a minus. If it's like, yeah, it's a lot, but I love to learn this. I would love to go all in and learn this. So then you put a plus. Okay. If it's neutral, just a 0. Okay. Neutral, I don't care. I can do it. No stress, but not particularly fun either. Okay, that's a 0. Is it plus, neutral, or is it a minus? Is it stress? Do that for each of them. You go to the next one. Okay, if it's higher than 6, where are you at? Do you feel like motivated, inspired? I can't wait to get started. Or is it like, oh no, yeah, it's too much, or it's a little stress feeling. It's a minus. Okay, so the only ones with a high growth that you want to choose is the growth that is positive, that you would love to do. Right? You don't want to choose one that has a high number with growth and it's stress. There's too much stress anyway to build a business, and especially if you're in the beginning, then you might not want to have a high number on stress on growth anyway. Not too much, because that can combine. That would be too much. Can you follow that? I hope that. So now you are able to already see a picture. So maybe you're left with 3 or 4 groups, maybe even 2. So I want you to go in now to the next scholarship. Let's say that someone came to you. Let's say it was Richard Branson. Okay, everyone knows about Richard Branson. He has a lot of money, and he said, hey, we in Virgin, we have decided to give a scholarship to you. So you can choose a group of people, and for the next 2 years, you'll get a lot of money from us. So your salary is covered, all your living is covered. You'll have everything you need for the next 2 years. And the only thing we want to do is that you do some research on this group. And he looks at this list and say, okay, these are the target group, or the audiences that you might want to work with. So you can get a scholarship and choose one of them. And for the next 2 years, you will do research, you will read books, you will interview a lot of people, you will observe people, you will make some study and find out and to know everything about them. Story says that Napoleon Hill, he got a scholarship from Andrew Carnegie to write Think and Grow Rich. So he had a salary for 25 years. He was paid or something for 25 years to study the rich people of America, to find out what you need to do to become rich. So after that, he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. So now you get a scholarship and you can choose one group. Which one do you think you would choose? Look at those people and say, okay, this group. Or is it another one? Spending 2 years studying this group. Which one would you make a plus or a mark that group in that column? The S, scholarship. Okay, let's forget that. Let's say you got another opportunity. You have the groups that you might have striked out some of the groups here because they're low. So now we're only thinking about the bigger groups here, or the groups left. So you could not, let's say you had a normal job and you're not a teacher or coach, but you got an opportunity to just as a hobby work with some of these groups. So which group would you choose to go with as a hobby? Spending a few hours every week as a coach or teacher, just for fun. No payments, just like a hobby, but you would choose to do something. You could have spent time with your friends or family or watch Netflix or whatever, but you chose to do this as a hobby. Which one do you think that you would have enjoyed most to be a coach or to serve as a hobby? Make a mark. Doesn't need to be the same that you would have been researching, because researching is the more intellectual part of this. The hobby is more the activity part, okay? But it might be the same, I don't know. Okay, final question here is, you walk into a bookstore, there is a table there, and there are, so how many groups do you have left now? Is it 3 or is it 4, 5? I don't know, but So that amount of book piles. So there's a stack of books there, 5 books in each stack. And you are in front of that and they say to you, hey, you can choose one of these stacks of books. And there are 5 books in each, and each of them are related to the group that you have left. So if you have 3 groups left, there are 3 stacks of books, and there are 1 for that audience. It's all about that. So let's say now that students or your group, okay, this is 5 books about students and student life, right? Or the next one, whatever that would be, running a marathon, that is all about running and everything around that marathon. And the third one, I don't know what that is for you. First pregnancy, all about the first pregnancy. So if you have 3 groups now and you go in and see, okay, there's books there. They say you can take one of them. Which one would you choose to bring with you back home? You can get them for free, but it's books that you would love to read, not having in your shelf, right? Not self-help books, but it's reading books, self-help books, or books that you want to study and you would love to read them. Make a mark on that category that you would choose. And now he asks you, or make a number 1. But right before you leave, he says, or she says, you can take 1 more. So now if you have more than 1 group left, right? So you can take 5 more books from 1 stack here. Which one would you then bring with you? Make a number 2. Don't think too much, just feel what you naturally love. You already probably know where you find yourself in the bookstore if you go there. Okay? So now we go to the next ones and we first of all, no, I actually going to stop you here, and I'm going to do that in the next video. So right now you want to look at this because the energy, the meaningful, and the future identity, they're all very linked to your heart. The scholarship, the hobby, and the books are linked to your passion, which might be a lot of the same. But that's what you love to do when you don't, when you're not paid to it. It's not necessarily work. So can you see a pattern here? The growth part is important because I think that it's important to have that we're a little bit challenged so we can grow, because if we don't grow, we get bored. But if it's too much demand for growth, we will feel pressure and that might be too much for us. If it's a higher growth, it at least should be a positive thing that we want to, right? That we might do anyway. So have a look at this now, and now you might already see which ones, maybe it's one that is stand out here and say, okay, it must be this. You probably see there's 1 or 2. So I will have a look at those 2, that is the highest numbers here, in average here, and we see that more likely, maybe it's the higher number, and the one that you would study, and the one that you would hobby, and the one that you would take the books, or you see a pattern. So now you can judge, where are you? Which one is the target group that you are dear to your heart? Then when you have found that, we'll have a check on the next video. See you in a second.